Hello, Rob here from the Flanagan Homestead. I'm out here feeding my animals, my goats and chickens this morning. We had our first winter snow that actually covered the ground, which is always fun, but at the same point in time as a farmer it makes it a little bit of a headache, and that now I have to pay for a little bit more hay and grain to keep the animals fed. That also means they spend more time in the barn, which means they're pooping everywhere, and I've got manure to clean out, both goat and chicken manure. But there may be a positive bright side to this. As you're going to see here in a minute, I'm going to have notes on the shortage of fertilizer, and actually goat and chicken manure are very good fertilizers that are actually starting to be sought out by not just small scale farmers but large scale farmers in this area. Give it a listen. Hello, Rob here at the Flanagan Homestead. I have an interesting story today. So I was just out here with Betty from the United States Department of Agriculture. She at the Christmas tree farm right now, East Fork Christmas tree farm that we run. And she was out here because they have a program for crop loss failure if there's natural disaster. In the 117-degree heat that never happens in the Pacific Northwest knocked out my plantings this year, and so there's a government funds that are going to help cover that. I'll do another video on that later to talk about that, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. What we're here to talk about is we've been finding out that due to the supply chain issues, there's a huge shortage of fertilizer, and it's actually creating great value in poop or manure. And so since I had someone from the Department of Agriculture here, I was like, well, what's your perspective on this? Have you been hearing anything about this? And she said, oh, let me tell you. So she works for the Department of Agriculture, but her and her husband run an alfalfa farm and cattle and everything else. And so in the last 2 years, they've bought 700 chickens for one purpose only: chicken manure. They're running 700 chickens, and she says, I don't like keeping them inside, but they keep them penned up in a smaller area so that they're not penned up tight, but they're not totally free range, so that the manure is easily collectible. And then they're putting that on, I believe she said 400 acres of alfalfa. And she said that the fields that have the cow manure on it, those that have been helped, but the fields that have chick manure on it are doing amazing. The crop is just really lush, growing up, and they're doing fantastically. So yes, they got 700 chickens just for the fertilizer. I know that there's other people that there's other farms that are getting biosolids, which is a fancy name for your city sewer treatment. The human waste goes in biosolids. I have a friend that drives truck that delivers biosolids to farms every day of the year. That's what he does. So the value of that has gone up, and she said that the farms that are doing that are actually doing quite well. So I'm going to be doing some more investigation into why it's short and different things, but I found that very interesting. That's an alfalfa farmer out in eastern Washington, or central Washington, I should say, south central Washington, got 700 chickens just to fertilize their alfalfa fields, and they're doing great. She said that they found that the fertilizer prices are nearly doubling, and the wheat farmers out there in that area are going to be able to pay for the fertilizer, the chemical fertilizer, because the wheat, what they sold their wheat for was twice normal last year. Wheat was super expensive, which was good for the farmers, so they'll be able to recoup the costs. But she said the alfalfa farmers and others that are and grass farmers, they will not, their sale prices were not up as much. They will not be able to cover the cost of fertilizer next year. So the biosolids, the human waste, cow manure is getting spread everywhere. People are growing, raising chickens just to fertilize their fields. So here's a little bit more about that. One of the interesting things that you also see here in this chart is the production per acre for a wheat field here, where there's no fertilizer. There's chemical fertilizers, which definitely do better, and then the biosolids, which perform much better than the chemical fertilizers. And biosolids, again, is human waste taken from your municipal systems. Another interesting thing of note, though, is if you are using manure and you don't incorporate it into the soil within the first few days, 40% of the nitrogen is lost. Watch my videos. Thanks for joining me on the Flanagan Homestead, where Christmas trees are my business, teaching including horticulture is my job, and outdoor projects are my passion. Be blessed.